to order. And if I can get a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tisdale. Do I have a second? Second, I got to get used to all these names now. Second by Mr. Creel. Mr. Tisdale.
Nothing. I'll just say we call for the question.
All right. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and call for the question. All for it? Those opposed? Motion carries. All right, presentation agenda. Did we start?
Yeah, no report. Welcome to the new council members, and this is how we start every meeting, but this meeting, no report.
All right. Generally, we go into council report, but I would suggest that we hold our council reports, until the following meeting, but we'll go ahead and call for council reports. Wayne? Mr. Marshall? No report. Mr. Tisdale?
No report.
No report.
Shoemaker. Okay, great. All right, and our topic is budget. We'll go into the revenue part of it.
I think you got public agendas.
Good public agenda. All right, we do have, at this special meeting, we also have our public comments. If there's anyone who'd like to be recognized, raise your hand. All right, no one wants to be recognized as part of the agenda is closed. All right, policy agenda. Clerk would read the policy agenda.
Subject matter is to discuss the fiscal year 25-26 municipal budget.
All right, I'll entertain the floor. Anybody wants to make comments?
Well, I think you have the spreadsheet. I know it's kind of small to read, but I think you have it on your screen too. For Diana, for our new council members, she is the guru when it comes to categories and projections. What you have is what we're looking at for 26. It's the right-hand column, I think, that was projected based on last year's and the performance of this year, what we project at the end of September, and also what we think in a few words is pretty flat. And we're going to have, we'll go over any questions that you would have. But about 75 million is what the bottom line is. And there have been some increases in some categories and some things that we didn't. I think one big hit item is the diversion. We estimated that the insurance revenue didn't pan out because of a lot of things. So that was a pretty significant decrease in at least the budget of the revenue. And we're open to questions, but Diane will probably be the one to deliver the answers to anything you might see on that spreadsheet. We've started, this spreadsheet is from the high hitters to the bottom. The ones that generate the most revenue, of course, the gaming, you see 23 million. And that was a record year that we budgeted in the past, and we're probably going to be at that same guess as far as that category of revenue. Then have a low taxes, and then some of the sales tax and use tax are the big hitters up at the top part of your spreadsheet.
All right. I'm going to start with Mr. Tisdale. You want to open some remarks, Mr. Tisdale?
I do. I have some preliminary comments, if you would. I would hope that we would use a consistent revenue format that we've used in past years. I'll explain that a little more. I mean, for example, this list of revenues from greatest contributors to the least contributors, that doesn't help me much, okay?
I think she's,
Bear with me. So I'd like a slightly different format, and I'll make a copy available which we've done in past years. I think it would be a detailed revenue report similar to what we get in the monthly financial reports. It's the first thing. Also, the next thing is any handouts or documents we're going to receive at budget workshops, that we would receive them by Friday at noon so we have time to look over them, check on some things, several days to check on some things, and enjoy our weekend. But that didn't always happen in past years. I would like for those documents that we receive to be mailed to us in a PDF format. Typically they are, but also if they're a spreadsheet or a Word, I would love that document in an Excel format or a Word format as well, not just a PDF. And that hard copies, well, the clerks could prepare hard copies for us. During workshops, I would like for the documents that are being discussed to be displayed on the screen up there. The panel there, the digital panel, so folks can follow at home. Folks out here in the audience can follow as well. I'll give you a copy of all these, Mr. Mayor. The documents like the combined fund statement should be enlarged so that the numbers can be read comfortably. We put them on an 11 and I think 11 by 17, and it's just difficult to read. If we got to spread it over 2 or 4 of those sheets, that's fine. Just so we can read them. And for the public budget hearing, we're a ways from that yet, but I would like for these documents to be available for comment. The statement of revenue is all funds, which we typically do, I think. The combined fund statement, which we typically do. A summary of department budgets, which we typically do. Non-departmental appropriations, sometimes it's referred to as discretionary spending, which we typically do. And a list of the capital projects that show the funding sources and the amount for each project. And I would suggest we include the CDBG projects and just on a single line, maybe the FEMA infrastructure project. I know a lot of that is done, but there's still a balance there. And a question dealing with non-departmental requests. So if we're gonna discuss that at some point on the calendar that we received, I think in June. And I'm thinking, how do the folks who might want to request something, or the folks who typically request something, how do they know that it's time to make a request? Does your office do that? Okay.
And again, as we go through departmental and again, non-departmental, I think non-departmental usually the last part of the ball game.
Right.
The capital requests within the department, those are big detail things that might be used to say, hey, in this department, I need $2 million in capital items or equipment. So
right.
If you might want some detail, we can make that available.
Okay.
But they usually do 2 or 3 departments in a session. And
Right.
That's
correct. And I noticed, looking at the topics on the calendar, that capital projects was not in there anywhere. I don't know. Could be with engineering for that matter, when the capital projects that you might be looking to create in fiscal year 26. I'd like to know if we have capital projects that are going to be launched in fiscal year 26. I'd like to know what they are and where the funding sources are, the costs broken out, things like that. Also, this, just in looking, first time we've seen on the handout that you gave us on the big sheet, thank you very much. We have, for fiscal year 26, we're looking at a total general fund figure of $75,350,000. And then there's transfers of $10 million, almost $10.5 million. Yeah, Diane, if you would explain, and I've never fully understood transfers, so go slowly for me.
There is ARPA money and infrastructure money in the general fund that is funding capital projects. And that is part of the total value. There's more than just that in there, but that is the majority of it. So if those projects all finished within 26, that would be the amount needed. We carry it all because we don't know how quick the work is going to go and when it's going to be used, so we recognize every bit of it.
Okay. Next question is, so basically, if I understand, the transfers, for the most part, are going to ARPA projects and infrastructure projects. Might that be FEMA related?
No, it's, yeah, the infrastructure money is a little different. It could be used for Pops Ferry, it could be used for patch and replace. It can be assigned to various items.
Okay, thank you.
But the general fund also funds other projects like the baseball maintenance fund.
Correct.
And that's all in that number as well.
Okay. Do we have a projected carryover or ending balance of the general fund at this point in time from fiscal year 25 to
No,
26?
it's too soon.
Okay. And the revenue figure, total general fund would be 75 million. Is that number going to change in the future, or is this the marker we want to use to set our revenue?
It could possibly be tweaked a little bit, but it's pretty close to where it's going to be.
Okay. And that 75 million again includes almost 10.5 million for ARPA and infrastructure issues. Okay, the proceeds of note for 2 million, explain that.
We ordered a fire truck this year that
Gotcha.
takes 3 years to build, and when it comes in, the note will offset it because the expenses on the other side, we carry the revenue on this side.
Okay, fire truck. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all I have at this time, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right, the chair will recognize anyone else that would like to make comments. We realize that we have 4 new members. This is a new process, but any questions, any comments, if you got something, throw it out there, okay? That's the only way we're going to learn.
Let me say, we just passed something like that. This is that data in capitals, which is the same numbers. So this is about, to have a little cat.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is great. I'd like something a little more detailed. Again, I'll get you a copy of what I'm talking about. So you can see what I'm looking at. Thank you.
All right, does anybody have any questions on revenues as you look down this list?
And this does not,
Any council members?
yeah, this does not pertain to proprietary funds, ports, and water and sewer. This is just the general fund. Thank you.
I do have some questions if my colleagues are still reviewing this at this time. As it relates to the sales tax rebate, that's our portion that we get from sales taxes from the state. Is that what that is? Sales tax rebates. So they're changing our sales tax structure, correct?
Yes.
On what we get, so of whatever the sales tax charge, we now get whatever they're charging, whether they're charging for sales tax 6% or whatever.
7%.
7%.
But 5% on groceries, but we were told we will be made whole for that difference in that.
Right, so,
The groceries are not, I think all SNAP-related items that are sold at the grocery stores will have a 5% charge. And then, the 1.29 will be made whole, which is our percentage of that 7%. So we'll still project it.
So here's my question. When this was originally being proposed to revamp our sales tax, and they said all things being equal, our actual take would be more. In other words, our share would be even more, all things being equal, the way they were restructuring it. And I know we got a flat in this budget. Should we consider that, or do we need to look at a model? Because I thought it was going to be an increase.
But they're going to be collecting less, and when they collect less, we're getting a higher percentage because it equals out. I did the math, and it comes out the same numbers.
Okay.
Looked at a prior year, and then I converted it to the new formula, and it was exactly the same.
And that's mainly because of the reduction in the grocery tax?
It's reduction, yeah, in the overall tax from 7% to 5%.
Okay.
So then they raised our share so that we got It's essentially the same amount, right?
One model I saw early actually saw that we would show a little bit of an increase, so, but I'm trusting you on that, and I appreciate the explanation. Let's see. Going down to the diversion fees, can you kind of bring me up to speed, because that's a big swing, so why is that a big swing on diversion
We
fees?
entered into the year with Securex. We had some experience for a few months in the prior year, and we projected 600,000 over the year, and we wound up with 6,000 because of some lawsuits and some things that were suspended that component, so it's not in the budget.
Okay.
We have received no money all year except for 1 month.
No worries. And then, this is a minimal amount, but I still want to question it because it may relate to another part of the budget when we get to it later on. When we get deep into the process. Rent on the old Biloxi Library second floor, we're just not renting that anymore, or?
It is not rented at the moment. I believe it needs some renovations to be rented.
Okay. So that's why we struck that out of the equation. Thank you. Thank you for that. County bond or county road tax sharing, that's changed. 125,000.
I think it's fiscal year 24. Hold on, let me see. We had a huge increase one year. I think it was 24. So we planned for 25 to be similar to 24 because we get no support or backup on this. And 25 is not following 24's format. So we've taken 26 similar to 25, which is similar to 23 in years prior.
Okay. Makes sense. Recoveries, big swing in there.
Recoveries had some extra money in it for fees that we were going to charge to third parties that did stuff within the city, and that has not come to fruition, so I did not include that in 26 budget.
And then there was some interest in investments. I thought we hit an all-time high today. Stock
Well,
market.
interest changes and has gone down a little bit over time, so I was planning for it to continue next year. I mean, the magic 8 ball doesn't always work, right? But we also are going to have some decrease in cash if the funds go out for the Poxbury.
And it's not working as hard.
So
Okay.
and I'm planning for less cash, so less interest.
That's primarily the pool cage, right?
All very logical explanations. Appreciate it. That's all I have at this point. Mr. Career.
Does this include grants,
Yes, it does.
Thailand's no?
Tideland grants from the Capital Projects Fund. This is only the general fund.
Thank you.
If you look at your schedule, everything that shows in the blank column, it looks like you put the number, those are grants. GRC, about midway you through, CGR, one such as that, that's a grant revenue item.
Let me explain something to you, Jamie. We have multiple funds, but you can only have one general fund, and that's what this is. The general fund is our primary fund where the majority of the city operates out of. It is a governmental fund, and it is our main fund. Every single thing from employees for cleaning and admin, it's all in here. Then we have 2 proprietary funds, which is the port and water and sewer. Those both act like an actual business. They are considered enterprise funds and go on a full accrual basis. And then we also have other funds that are like special project funds or special revenue funds. When the police department gets seized money, that goes into a special revenue fund and it stays separate. The fire department gets fire rebate money, it goes into a separate fund. And things flow in and out of that fund, and it may fund the general fund, but it's reported in a separate fund. They have to get permission to use it, or they have guidelines to follow. And then there's a capital projects fund where we do all the major things like the Poxbury Road extension, or Tidelands money, Restore, Go Mesa. Those are all in a separate fund. And then we have some agency funds and some internal funds. Our insurance, we're self-insured. Those are in internal funds, and those funds will actually bill back the general fund and the proprietary funds for their cost and their portion of the bills.
Okay, on gaming tax, and, you know, it's relative, you know, I believe, to how the hotels are performing. Year-to-date, hotels are slightly up. They're slightly up. And I know we're trying to be conservative here to forecast something relatively flat. And if I'm reading this correct, year-to-date, or fiscal year collected, 66%, right? And we're into how many months of the fiscal year?
This was a period 8, so we're through 9 months.
So we've got 3 more months to go?
Right.
All right, so we're kind of on track if you, all things considered equal. However, the next 3 months are our biggest banner months as far as tourism, gaming, you know, et cetera. So I'm just wondering that could be a slightly conservative, a little bit more conservative figure. And I ask this question every year. I'm always wanting to push the envelope, push it a little bit higher, and make sure we get that. And we don't want to be irresponsible and push it too high, and we got to come back with budget amendments when we fall short. But
When I did the budget, I looked at where we were year-to-date, and we're at 0.4% increase to the prior year for the first 9 months. And then I forecasted what I thought the next 3 months were going to be to arrive at the figure, and it pretty much comes to the 23 million, give or take a few dollars. So I just picked 23 million.
okay. But we've collected 66%, right, of what we projected? Is that what it?
Well, it might be a little more now from when this was done, because I can't keep updating
Sure.
where we were. And then I use it to May, and then I forecast what I think June, July, August, and September are going to be.
Okay, which are our banner months, and that's what I'm just saying. I mean, that's our 100 days when we make the majority of our money in the tourism industry. I'm just wondering if that may be a little conservative.
I'll look at it again.
Okay. No disrespect, you know, I certainly appreciate the
The
input.
two, I think the number of weekends impact those 3 or 4 months too, you know, as far as, you know, of course, GGR goes thing. Anyway, no,
Sure.
I think it's been very good. Last year, 23 million was a record, and I think, as far as GGR, we were at $1 billion 91 million, and I think this last year was $1 billion 69 million. So we're right at where we were record-wise, across all 8 casinos.
I would just ask consideration to take a look at it, being that this next 100 days is our biggest revenue-producing months. Just take another look at it, if you will. I know you've got professional care that's beyond reproach. I'm just asking from a tourism lens if you take a look at it. Okay? That's all I have. Gentlemen, any other comments?
Just
Mr. Shoemaker?
one question, I don't know if you guys know, but any word on last year's audit when we may receive that?
Yes, it'll be presented at next week's budget meeting.
Okay, great, thank
But
you.
it's done, and we'll file the report so we're in compliance for George Martin.
We don't have a council meeting next week, but we will have a budget workshop
It'll
next
be
week.
presented at the budget workshop.
And what, I'm assuming that'll be at 1:30?
I'm guessing.
Does that work for everybody? Okay, thank you. Just want to be clear on that. Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen, this process will certainly change. This is a starting point on the revenues. It certainly can go up or down a little bit. It's pretty fluid. But this is the beginning of getting into the nuts and bolts of our budget for this year. If there's no other comments, yes, I need a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Shoemaker. 1:30 next week. Y'all got the date? Okay. Everybody good with that? What's that? Tuesday, July 8th. Tuesday, July 8th. Call for the question. All in favor? Those opposed? Motion carries. Any other comments? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I need a second. All right, seconded by Mr. Gray. Any other discussion? All in favor? Those opposed? Special meeting is closed.